Out today is a poem called From a Tiny Seed. And before we start reading this, I want you to think about it. Have you ever planted a seed to watch something grow? It could be a flower or a tree or another type of plant. It could be a fruit or a vegetable that maybe you planted in a garden at your house. I know a lot of kindergarten teachers last year did planting activities where you planted seeds in milk cartons or in a Ziploc bag and taped them to the window and you watched them grow that way. So there are many seeds that you can plant and different ways that you can watch them grow. So the first time we read this, we are going to echo read. So make sure you read the line after I do. Now let's start with the title. From a Tiny Seed. Place the tiny seeds way down low, deep into the soil, so the roots are sure to grow. Sprinkle cool water so your plant can drink. Make sure it gets sun. It's not as hard as you think. After a few days, a sprout will start to rise. Up pops a green leaf right before your eyes. In the springtime, it's always fun to see how a flower grows from a tiny seed. So this next time you're going to choral read. So read with me starting with the title. From a Tiny Seed. Place the tiny seeds way down low, deep into the soil, so the roots are sure to grow. Sprinkle cool water so your plant can drink. Make sure it gets sun. It's not as hard as you think. After a few days, a sprout will start to rise. Up pops a green leaf right before your eyes. In the springtime, it's always fun to see how a flower grows from a tiny seed. So now that we've read this, we're going to talk a little bit about the poem. So this gives us a little information about how flowers grow. So if we look at this picture of a flower here, we're going to talk about the parts of a flower. So if I look right here, does anyone remember what these are called? These are called the roots. They grow down into the soil. So this is the soil or the dirt, and these are the roots. This is the stem of the flower. These are the leaves. And these are the petals. So that's the part of a flower. So today for an activity, for your read aloud, if you wanted to, you could draw a diagram of a flower. You could draw the flower that's right here in this picture and label it using your arrows. Or you could make your own flower and draw and label that if you wanted to do it that way. But before we go, we're going to talk about a type of word. Now this poem has it in here twice. And the word is its. I-T apostrophe S. There's one up here and there's one down here. This word is called a contraction. A contraction is when you take two separate words and you kind of squish them together and you get rid of some of the letters, and instead of the letters you have an apostrophe. That's called an apostrophe. It looks like a comma, but instead of being down on the bottom like a comma is up here, it's up top by the top of the letters. So its is short for it is. So it's the words it is put together, and instead of the I in is, there's an apostrophe. Now there are lots of words that are contractions, and as we get going for the next couple weeks, we're going to learn how to make contractions, how to write them, read them, and all of the words that go together to make contractions. So this is just a quick little introduction to what a contraction is. So this is the word its. Go ahead and read that word. So now that we're done with poetry, you can go ahead and make your flower diagram if you want to, or you can practice reading the poem for fluency.